Yeah. Hi,
Yeah.
Vesa. So nice.
Hi, Christian.
Yeah, nice to meet you here at the Dev Kitchen, short before public review.
Yeah, exactly. Same to you. It's always fun to come to Redmond and meet the team and talk with others like yourself. Yeah, like yourself.
So, what is the thing that you love about Mesh the most?
The most, you're never going to get a short answer and single something what I love about the mesh the most. In a way, I love the potential because it has the potential of allowing us new capabilities to do things in a very different way, because the third dimension is giving us new options, how we are visualizing information, how we are collaborating with each other. So basically how we are meeting. Just like us now, we are meeting face to face, but we will be probably meeting a few times in a mesh in the future. And that's, well, it's probably better than just being on the massive video call, for example. So it's giving us new options how we are going to be meeting each other, but also I am really a fan of that, what you can bring to that space. Like, for example, integrations and information, has always been kind of one of the ideas. So there's many aspects, because Mesh is allowing a lot of new things that were not really possible before.
Yeah, I agree. It's very at the beginning, and I think we're in the stage where people have to discover the potential. And I don't know. Did you see that that video with Lex Friedman and Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah.
So I think somehow it's not where we are currently, because it's face tracking and also it's not performant. But I think that it helps people somehow to envision that what we see now. It's just it's an early step of as you said, at a new dimension that coming into all that meetings.
Yeah, and it was great in that video how they were. This guy was very impressed about how good
How
it
real,
felt, how real, and how
the presence.
It was like sitting next to each other and talking, and the thing about the technology is there. It's just not feasible for. Well, they got their face scans and everything, so it's not very something you can do for everyone every day. Far from that, but it's going there, and it's going to be easier next year and easier after that, and that way we are going to be heading towards the very interesting ages.
Yeah. So I'm also rather convinced that Microsoft Mesh has the highest potential, especially in the enterprise area, because the security and compliance.
Yeah.
But when they when they released the initial post of the public review, they announced the license model. That immersive spaces directly in Teams is for free. It's included in kind of most of the M365 licenses when you somehow can use Teams. And then the custom worlds, they need a Teams premium license, and I worry a little bit about adoption there, because there are the use cases, they are like town halls, all hands, different kind of parties, onboarding, and you don't know exactly, how many users, and having a monthly commitment of $7 per user at that early stage, I think it will get a little bit challenging. But you are coming also more from the Teams area, and Teams Premium and much better. So
yeah, I know Teams Premium a lot better in that sense, and you can find our user story customer story of Teams Premium from Microsoft site. So yeah, and I'm being interviewed there. So
but maybe also because I'm also not so familiar with Teams Premium. Yeah. Maybe you also give a short overview of what is in Teams Premium beside Mesh.
Okay. All right. Teams Premium has few areas like. The first one is, of course, meetings/webinars. It's bringing in new capabilities when you're organizing meetings for large people. It's giving us more structure, and of course, you can manage the meeting better, and you can do those webinars in a much better scale and with better options than without Teams Premium. It's like adding that premium there on top of meetings and webinars. And that's very widely used, because that's one of the reasons customers are they want those capabilities, and it's enough if the organizer has the Teams Premium license, so then everyone has it. And it includes things, the AI things like live translation, live captions, translations, so you can get read the captions in your own language. So there's a huge number of languages you can choose. So it brings a lot to that meeting side. I also love the branding, because then you can brand. If your organizer has the Teams Premium and the branding has been set up, so
that's good for customer meetings.
It's customer meetings. It's showing, okay, you are coming to Sulava meeting, for example, or you're coming to Microsoft meeting, and not just some meeting in that sense. So I think the branding is really a big thing. But of course, if you have a huge organization, not everyone is going to get that because of branding. But some people may see that essential. But then we are going to go for interesting side, or two interesting areas. One of them is the security. Teams Premium allows you to have more secure meetings. Teams meetings are secure, but there are cases when you want to have the end-to-end encryption to meetings. So Teams Premium is allowing that. And then you can have watermarks on the content, or video and content. So if somebody is taking screenshots and spreading them, you know who it was because the email address is there. So it gives you more confidence with your confidential data, especially depending on in which kind of situations you have them. And meeting templates is then one area, but that requires that everyone who's using templates has Teams Premium. So because you can, admins can create those templates and they can define that, okay, you are having a customer meeting, then we don't have anything special there. You are having a steering group meeting. It's secured by default. So the meeting template already makes it simpler for users to select those. So there's all these aspects included in Teams Premium.
And now it's also Mesh.
And of course the intelligent recap is one AI.
What?
Intelligent recap for meetings.
Yeah, that's a nice feature, yes.
Yeah, it's kind of co-pilotish feature in there. And so we've seen those videos when you can use the co-pilot to go through the work basically together with intelligent recap. And it's very good one for people who don't have that much time, but I'm still waiting for Finnish support, for example. So that's one hindering thing in Finland why it's not that often used. But yeah, and now there's going to be Mesh after all this. So it makes sense in some cases that is the Mesh the deciding factor for Teams Premium? Probably not. But if there's already kind of a good grounds for, okay, we could use these and we have easy benefit on these, and then Mesh is perhaps one click there, okay, we get this, and along with all that, and we know we are going to be using this and that. But yeah, Teams Premium is $7 per user per month on top of everything. So it's a thing that it's not probably going to be spread around for everyone in the organization. If the organization is a large, even with 1,000 employees, it's $7,000 a month more. And but if those 1,000 employees use those capabilities and need $10 to $7 is nothing. And then it comes with Mesh.
I think some of the scenarios, when I see daily Teams meetings, I think this is things that people mostly do with immersive spaces, and it's more a single group. This is for free and custom spaces. You have, when you do this, you need design work and eventually the development, and this is also additionally costs, and people have to invest in this, and then they have on top a monthly subscription, and then all hands or something that different people join, and then you have that monthly subscription. But at the beginning, the people don't have much custom worlds and content, and so I think it's hard for internally to justify this when you want to start somewhere, and it's a little bit what I worry a little bit.
Yeah, I worry about that too, especially if the customer is thinking about scaling up very in a very large way. But on the other hand, you can't scale it up too much. Like there's the limit, 200 attendees for the Mesh meeting. So or for the mesh event. So it's kind of a limiting factor there. So it won't be thousands of people at the same time. Yes, as you pointed out very well in the beginning, we are in early steps with mesh, and things are growing and evolving. But yeah, I understand your point fully, because Teams Premium will be a hindering factor for some, because yeah, it's extra money, and you're already paying for the world and creating that world or the environment where people can do things. But I think if the company is in early steps as well, they are still figuring out things. They are not going directly to Christmas parties or some other event, but instead they want to try it with a smaller number of people. Then the Teams Premium cost is not that high. But if you have 10,000 employees who want to buy that, yeah, of course, that's a huge amount of money per year.
Yeah, so many of the features in custom worlds are made for larger events with charting.
It will be in larger events in the future. We know that it will grow, because that is just the first step, and eventually we will be seeing larger and larger. And I don't think we are going to. It would be interesting if it hit the Fortnite numbers, but probably not, because the mesh is for the enterprise use. No, we are talking about businesses, enterprises, how we are using that. So it's not about scaling unlimitedly, but it's scaling with the security and compliance and everything that in mind. So the packet needs to hold together and all the time. So, but yeah, it's that's why I think we are going to be first seeing those proof of concepts, pilots in smaller scale, because some companies, they don't know yet what they can do in there, and that's why they are experimenting with first, and then eventually when it's going to be used more widely, then of course it's other thing. And well, we don't know what's going to happen by that. Everybody has this premium by that time or not, but I share your concern about the license.
Maybe the strategy is, when M365 came first, and there were also discussions about people go never to cloud, and especially in Europe and Germany, it took a while, and eventually I think everybody is there. So maybe Microsoft expects a very slow adoption, a little bit like it was at the beginning with the cloud computing.
Yeah, and with Teams. It took Teams some time before it kind of went to spreading like wildfire. So the start is usually slower, and people are figuring out what to do and how it will change them. New tool is always a change, and thinking about how it fits here when we are using that. So everything it's not easy when you have large companies in there. But of course, Teams Premium, it's with our mesh, is bringing one more tick to Teams Premium, like you are considering how much more value you get from there. But if it's just the mesh you need, then it might be very hard to get it.
I think this year, so my experience is, last year and I think the last 2 years, Metaverse was quite in and hyped. And then with OpenAI and Copilot, I think it's not top of mind of the people. When I go to most of the conferences, the topic is mostly AI and Copilot, OpenAI, Gen AI, and it's not, let's say, it's not a good metaverse here.
Yes and no. We could say metaverse is taking a breather, but AI is
something like this.
It's push. Well, AI is everywhere, and I think the difference is that people can realize how fast they can get benefits from AI. It can help and speed up. When on the metaverse, they don't have a vision or realize where it could be used in such a way. The way I used to talk and still do about the metaverse is that, of course, AI is always part of that. Now with the AI is enabling things we didn't think were possible a year ago, just a year ago. And now it's very easy to see, you can already start to create 3D objects with AI. You can start to create 3D scenes with AI. So it will enable the metaverse in a very new way as well. So there's synergy, but at this point, AI is the hot thing, and metaverse is down there a bit, but it's not. It hasn't gone away, but it's just waiting for when we can take the advantage of the AI, or they can support each other more and go forward. And I think mesh is going to be one of those things that it will enable mesh use cases more than it could be without the AI.
So like you said, in conclusion, you see it more as an enabler for metaverse.
Yeah.
And I also agree, one of the expensive parts of building things like this is usually content creation. 3D modeling is not a cheap thing. And with Midjourney, DALL-E and everything, you have that kind of 2D Gen AI, and you see more and more tools coming for 3D generation and building immersive presentations, to leverage the full capacity of the metaverse mesh. You need a 3D presentation, but producing that is super expensive. And so, the dream would be then, you say, hey, I wanted this, and the AI orchestrate that for you, and then you have a great immersive presentation.
Yeah, and probably AI can be your producer at some point of time, because you've told, okay, what do you want? But that's the thing about the presentations as well, because, sorry, I'm sidestepping perhaps a bit, but I really like the potential what 3D mesh metaverse can give to us. Instead of watching those 2D PowerPoint shows, we might be in a 3D show. Like it's something like when mesh was first introduced, it was a very cool show from Microsoft.
You mean the Ignite presentation? That was a benchmark for immersive presentation.
Exactly.
That was cool.
Yeah, because that way they used the space like the third dimension there. So we had depth and we saw things going there, moving, and I think that's a very cool way to think about that. In the future, we will be presenting our sessions there in a very different way. We don't have a PowerPoint slide deck, but instead we have different objects and that are displaying the things. So it's just not in one space, but it's all over there. That's like a future thing.
It's like immersive storytelling where you're surrounded in kind of the presentation story.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting when an AI is enabling things like that.
If not, it's quite exclusive. I think the costs for producing that Ignite, I think that was quite massive, and so it's really for very few events. But as you said, AI is the enabler to make that for the masses available. And I think this is quite exciting. So I also see it more like a enabler that we will see more of this.
Yeah, we will, and it's going to be very interesting times seeing how these combine together and go towards the future. Because, of course it's clear that the AI is going to be there all the time, and now we know it's going to be there because it can help us to be more efficient, more productive in that sense, because those tasks we do, a lot of them can be replaced with the AI, and then we can do something we don't have time to do today, and enabling us to kind of experiment with new stuff, and that's what I'm really also waiting for.
So maybe one last aspect, maybe more the MVP perspective. So, we both Microsoft MVPs, and when I see it from a community perspective, so because let's say the barrier is quite high for for custom worlds.
Yeah.
So I worry a little bit, when you do community sessions or something, to get a developer community for that worlds, because it's at the beginning it will be quite limited to the people who use this.
Yeah, and of course one of the things that are limiting the use is that it's inside one organization only. So mesh can't be used we can't be in the same mesh meeting unless we have a third tenant where we both have an account. So that's of course one thing in these early steps, and in the community-wise it's also perhaps a bit limiting because we can't enjoy the same shared space together, and unless you do some interesting things with some tenant where everybody has an account. but yeah, it's community is of course something that drives these things forward, because from community we learn and from each other as well what can be done, what should be done, and getting cool ideas, and together we can envision something new or innovate new things that one of us can't think, but together when we are there thinking about these things, new ideas come forward. That's the thing with especially with MVPs, but also all these communities. When you have group of people who have the same similar goal and passion, that's when very cool things happen.
Yeah, that drives things really forward.
Yeah.
I totally agree. So, and I see Sulava, I see always the same companies on the Mesh Dev Kitchen. So it seems you also want to go more into that space, or you are already?
We are already in that space. We can say that we've been in the private preview for quite a time already, and we've been building things with our customers. So yeah, we are in that space already, and it's kind of one piece in our offering or strategy that fits in it. It's not all in at Mesh, it's not all in at AI, but it's all in at making better work life.
Yeah, I see. So, Vesa, I think we should come to the end here.
Oh.
We had already quite a time, and then I think we might could take the whole day talking about this stuff. So yeah, thanks. And I hope I see you on the next Dev Kitchen.
I hope as well, and thank you, Christian, for inviting me.